There's a story told about two men sitting together on an airplane as, there's a story told about two men sitting on an airplane. As some are wont to do, men strapped together 30,000 feet above where they ought to be, they begin to get acquainted. One man was an astronomer, the other a theologian. After a while, each began to share his understanding of the other's discipline. The astronomer said, "I believe that all religion can be summed up in one phrase. Jesus loves me, for this I know, for the Bible tells me so." The theologian, somewhat miffed at the simplistic understanding of his scholarly discipline, said, "And all astronomy can be summed up with the phrase, 'Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder where you are.'" Today we look not at astronomy, but at some astronomers who wondered about a star. The truth is that the astronomer and the theologian should have learned something from the other. There's a mystery in science, or there should be. There's no place for arrogance in science. There's a need to realize that there are other ways of seeing things, and the truth is to be found in other than scientific categories. And two, the last thing theologians need to do is to be defensive, to think they have to complicate simple truth to make it acceptable, or to explain mystery, or to diminish wonder. This day is the day of wonders, the day when we celebrate ultimate truth, God coming to us in person, Jesus. Remember how we began this story, this series of sermons 5 Sundays ago, when God got ready to communicate his greatest ideas. He wrapped that idea in a person. That's the meaning of the incarnation, and how other people respond to this big idea of God wrapped in the person of Jesus teaches us. So today, in this final sermon of the series, we look to the wise men. They may not have been astronomers in the sense of that discipline today, but they were students of the stars. It's generally believed that these men were skilled in philosophy, medicine, and natural science. They were also soothsayers and interpreters of dreams. In those ancient days, all men believed in astrology. They believed that they could foretell the future from the stars, and they believed that a man's destiny was settled by the star under which he was born. It is not difficult to see how that belief arose. The stars peruse their unvarying courses. They represent the order of the universe. If then there suddenly appeared some brilliant star, if the unvarying order of the heavens was broken by some special phenomenon, it did look as if God was breaking into his own order and announcing some special thing. So we could spend our time this afternoon talking about the extraordinary sense of expectation that pervaded the day in which the wise men saw the star and followed it. The fact that men were waiting for God, or that there was an anguishing longing for deliverance and hope. We could talk about the fact that in the wise men was symbolizing the coming of the ends of the earth to the stable in Bethlehem, foretelling the truth that one day the kingdoms of this world will become the kingdoms of Christ, and he will reign forever and ever. We could talk about the meaning of the gifts these wise men brought. Gold, the gift for a king, for that is who Jesus is. King of kings, the Lord of lords. Frankincense, the gift for a priest, for that is who Jesus is, our great high priest who liveth at the right hand of the Father to make intercessions for us. Myrrh, the gift for one who is to die, and that was Jesus' ministry, to die for our sins and the sins of the whole world. We could talk about all that and more, but I want to focus on another point, a point that is illuminated in brilliant light by the one sentence about the wise men, verse 12. And being warned in a dream not to return to the Herod, they departed into their own country by another way. There's a clear statement of the message of Christmas. Once we experience Christ, we go from that experience by another way. Let me use an image from the social scientists. Every discipline has its own jargon. Only a government economist in working would coin the phrase negative saves to describe a person who spends more than he makes. Someone has said that if a modern educational theorist had written Bud Schulberg's famous book, What Makes Sammy Run, he would have called it Motivational Research into Sammy's Potential. I remember when someone finally breaking away from Dr. Spock referred to spanking a child as positive, negative reinforcement. Well, the social scientists are talking about paradigm shifts. I like that even though it may need explanation, a paradigm is a model that a scientist uses in order to make sense out of things. Einstein's theory of relativity is a paradigm. You hold it up to the cosmos and it makes sense out of things. It enables you to see things that you weren't able to see before. Well, someone asked some social scientists called futurists, those who gather facts and data and put it into computers to figure out what the future is going to be like, why they were not as gloomy as they had been before. Why were they more optimistic than they used to be? The answer was that they had experienced a paradigm shift. That is to say, they are using a different model of the world, and that enables them to see things that have been there all along, but the old paradigm would not let them see. Now that's what happened to the wise men. They had a paradigm shift, and that's what Christmas does for us. From the cradle of Christmas, from an experience and relationship with Christ, we go a different way. We can't remain the same. If we see him, if we take him seriously and accept him for what he came to do and be. So we press the question, what does going home from the manger of Christmas by another way mean to us? If we are going to experience the paradigm shift which Christmas always affords, what will that mean? At least two things. One, a new way of being, and two, a new way of seeing. Let's underscore those truths. A new way of being. First, a new way of being. Once we have experienced the Christ of Christmas, we are new persons. Paul put it this way, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. The old has passed away. Behold, the new is come. As new creations, we have experienced a paradigm shift, and we have a new way of being in the world. Dr. Minger illustrated this truth. He noticed that when a new doctor or nurse came onto the ward of his hospital in Topeka, Kansas, patients who had been making no progress to speak of suddenly began to make progress and often recovered. He said the reason was not because of the introduction of any new medicine or new therapy, but because of the introduction of a new human being who was hopeful and cheerful and radiant in their personality, and who brought some new hope into the despair of that ward. Menninger concludes with these words, hope fires hope. One new way of being in the world as Christians is primarily a way of hope. That way was foreseen by the prophet Isaiah. If you don't remember it from reading the 40th chapter of his book, certainly you can hear it in your soul as you recall that haunting music from Handel's Messiah. It's one of my favorite pieces from the Messiah. Comfort, comfort my people, says your God. Speak tenderly to Jerusalem and cry to hear that her warfare is ended, that her iniquity is pardoned. I apologize. Iniquity is pardoned, that she has received from the Lord's hand double for all her sins. A voice cries, in the wilderness, prepare the way of the Lord. Make straight in the desert a highway for our God. Every valley shall be lifted up, and every mountain and hill be made low. The uneven ground shall become level, and the rough places a plain. And the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. For the mouth of the Lord has spoken. So Handel set the prophet's word to music, that hope may sing in our souls. Likewise, Paul's words to the Philippians, Isaiah looked forward in anticipation to Jesus' coming. Paul looked back in reflection upon the meaning of his coming, and We sing Paul's words too in of the moving anthems of the church. Rejoice in the Lord always. Again, I will say, rejoice. Let all men know your forbearance, your hope. The Lord is at hand. Have no anxiety about anything. Now, this is no naive notion, no Pollyanna approach to life, no surface optimism that looks through rose-colored glasses and disregards the sharp edges of loneliness and suffering, the dark nights of disappointment and defeat, the anxiety of inadequate financial resources, physical illness, or perhaps worse of all, the pervasive anxiety of the whole human race, which comes from the ominous threat of the total devastation of nuclear war. Look at what the world is coming to. Look who is coming to the world. This is the greatest experience that we can know, the experience of Christ, which provides us a new way of being. Here it is dramatically in a person. The Cuban poet Valladares. Valladares was in Castro's prison for 23 years. He was an ardent Christian. For 9 years of that prison sentence, he was in solitary confinement, naked most of that time. Once a day at least, the guards would come and throw excrement all over him. But he was sustained by the presence of Christ. He had a new way of being. He was such an outstanding poet that finally the French Prime Minister, Mitterrand, interceded and had him released. He went first to France and then came to this country and was honored in Washington, D.C. by the Institute of Religion and Democracy. Jean Kirkpatrick, UN ambassador, had tears in her eyes as she introduced him on the day that he received his special award. In his response to receiving the award, he quoted one of his poems written in prison. The poem said, "You have taken away my pencil. You have taken away my paper. And you said I could not write my poetry, but I will write. I will write in my blood with my fingernail on the walls of this prison." Valladares had experienced Christmas, and he had a new way of being. He was sustained by hope. From Bethlehem, we can go home by another way. The new way of being gives us a new way of seeing. Hans was a German pastor. He was a prisoner of the Gestapo in Berlin on Christmas Eve in 1944. The commandment of that particular prison reluctantly permitted the prisoners a brief worship service. A bit of music, remembered scripture, and shared prayers reminded those men who were under the threat of death that eternal light had shone on the world through Jesus Christ, and the darkness of the world would never put that light out. One pastor wrote, "The promise remains true. The peace of God enfolded us. It was real and present, like a hand laid gently upon us. The people who walk in darkness may be the ones who best see the true light of Christmas." Isn't it true? Unfortunately, it sometimes takes the dark to teach us about the light. I like Christmas cards. In this age of technology, they don't seem to come through snail mail as much as in the past, but they still do. The high point of my day, usually during Christmas, is going through the mail to gather all the greetings from friends far and near. Most meaningful are the personal notes added to the cards. That is how it happened. You remember to Peter, James, and John. He came to them while they were fishing, and to Matthew as he collected taxes. John Woolman, a tailor, was sewing buttons on a suit when God spoke to him. He came to a journalist, well known for his disdain of religion, as he held his firstborn son in his arms. He was overwhelmed with awe at how God sculpts the contours of the human ear. A Swiss writer tells when it happened to him. "We were hiking and in good shape. I felt neither fatigue, hunger, or thirst, and my state of mind was equally healthy. And there was not a shadow of uncertainty about the road that we should follow. All at once, I experienced a feeling of being raised above myself. I felt the presence of God. I tell of it just as I was conscious of it, as if His goodness and His power were penetrating me altogether. The throb of emotion was so violent that I could hardly tell my friends to pass on and not wait for me. I sat down on a stone, unable to stand for any longer, and my eyes filled with tears. I thank God that in the course of my life he had taught me to know him. I begged him that my life be consecrated to his doing, to the doing of his will. It is so. God comes to us along the road we travel. He knows where we are. He comes with surprise and summons. We never know when he will come or how. He comes to us as he chooses, as he did to the shepherds on a Judean hillside, keeping watch over their flocks by night. No one has stated this more powerfully than Paul in 2 Corinthians 4, and no translation more pugnantly flavors his word than Philip. Listen to that word. We are hard-pressed on all sides, but we are never frustrated. We are puzzled, but never in despair. We are persecuted, but are never deserted. We may be knocked down, but we are never knocked out. Every day we experience something of the death of Jesus, so that we may also show the power of life of Jesus in those bodies of ours. This is the reason why we never lose heart. The outward man does indeed suffer wear and tear, but every day the inward man receives fresh strength. These little troubles, which are really so transitory, are winning for us a permanent, glorious, and solid reward out of all proportion to our pain. For we are looking all the time not at the visible things, but at the invisible. The visible things are transitory. It is the invisible things that are really permanent. That's the new way of seeing. Since Christmas, an eternal light to glory beyond all comparison, as the Revised Standard Version puts it, has entered our experience, and we can always go home from Bethlehem by another way. There's a family whose father of which had surgery for malignant brain tumors last week. In the dark, they are learning about the light. A woman's husband walked out on her a month ago, unannounced, until the day he left. In the dark, she is learning about the light. A man lost his mother and father in the course of 2 weeks. In the darkness, the greatest light he has known has illuminated a deep personal problem. We could go on. You know what I'm talking about. Sometimes it takes the dark to teach us about the light, but it doesn't have to be. Be sure of this. The darkness will come. Sooner or later, it will come. But please, please, don't wait for the dark to learn about the light. Come to the manger today. Come to Christ, and from your Bethlehem experience, go home another way. Go home with the light. Amen. What'd you like? What'd you not like? What do you want to keep? What do you want to get rid of? Let's talk about the service today. Let's talk about Epiphany. Let's talk about taking a new way in life, a new way home. That's kind of what we're talking about today. What do y'all got for me?
I have a question.
Okay.
Great. Your sermon was about how Christmas was a time whenever you to find a new way and stuff. Mm-hmm. Why not the New Year?
Because as Christians, our New Year has already come and gone. The New Year for the church was before Christmas. The actual beginning of the church.
Then why not the sermon before Christmas?
Because we celebrate Christ as the new coming, as the new light. He is the one who brought us out of darkness. And He is the one that enabled that new way home to be found.
His birth is the second most important.
What's
it would be equal.
What's the first most important? What's the most holy?
Resurrection.
You know what holiday it
Easter Sunday. Of course, in my book, Good Friday is just as important. But to answer your question, think about it, guys. Come on, talk to me. What do you think?
New way home.
Is it a new way home, or is
New
it
way
just a
home.
new path?
Either way, I mean, it talks a lot about a new way home in it. But you know, we can take it either way.
A new way to Christ, a new way to whatever you're trying to get to.
We're talking about home. We're talking about to Bethlehem, or from Bethlehem to your home. Like the kings left Bethlehem and went a different road. Right. It's an interesting interpretation.
They went a new way home to
They were avoiding Herod.
Yeah, exactly.
They were avoiding Herod. Well, you know, could Herod be you know?
A stumbling block?
Well, no. Could he also be equated with evil? Could he be?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. He wanted to kill Christ. Yeah. So,
I'd go around that too.
yeah, I think I would too. Yeah, they didn't want any confrontation. They didn't want any trouble. They wanted to just go on. They did their thing. They did their thing. They came and paid homage to the Christ, and now it's time for them to move on.
You know, I've always found it kind of funny how the three kings, or three wise men, three kings, I mean, they had to avoid Herod, even though they were royalty themselves.
Well,
and I mean,
they weren't necessarily royalty. He was the king.
Herod was he king, or was he just a leader?
Herod was king.
No, he became.
He was
king,
the emperor.
and
Okay.
he wanted all the other kids.
So they weren't really kings. They were wise men. They
Why we call three kings?
The difference in the word emperor and kings, it's a translation. Is all it is. It's just semantics. That's all that is. They were highly regarded by the common folk.
They said they were soothsayers. They were
Right.
in the like.
It's kind of like a medicine man would be in a tribe in Africa. You know, he's very highly regarded. He's you know, praised.
A philosopher, in a sense.
In our country, which I wish it was more so, but you're right, a philosopher or a scientist, things like that.
Okay.
Innovator. Something like that.
Einstein.
They would actually be close to astronomers, because didn't they watch the stars?
They did, but everybody watched the stars. Everybody did. It's just like I said in the sermon about, you know, that's the only constant there really was the stars. And, you know, here's this. Many people think that say that the actual Star of Bethlehem was a comet. It was actually a comet, and there's a comet that about the time that Jesus was born that came very close to Earth and would have lasted about as many nights as it took for the Magi, the wise men, to reach.
Not Magi.
Okay, the wise men to reach. What did I say? Magi, yeah.
Magi. Are you sure?
Certainly.
Yeah,
Certainly Magi.
they're considered Magi in the Bible. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Why not Magi?
I don't know.
What's
The
the
Magi is. If you look up the word Magi, it can refer to magicians.
Well, they are. They're soothsayers.
Yeah,
Yeah, they were like
what they were.
they were like alchemists of their day.
That's what they're considered. Yeah,
Medicine men.
Okay.
That's what they were.
Shamans.
dabbled in lots of different things.
So what does it mean to you? What does it mean in your life? What does it mean? How does this relate to you? I mean, this is 2,000 some odd years ago we're talking about. So how does finding that new way home, that new path in your life, what does that mean to you?
Well, going back on some of the other sermons you've given in the past 2 weeks would be finding a new way to serving others, possibly. Finding a new
Absolutely.
way of looking at things.
Very much so. Very much so. It's time to open your eyes as Christians now and look in the light and realize the truth. There's no more excuses for being in the darkness because you know the truth now. You know right from wrong. You know where salvation is. You know
It sucks.
what you... It can.
Ignorance is bliss.
It can
I
be.
agree.
It can be. It can be.
Because how can you do wrong, or how can you do wrong when you know it's wrong?
You can. You're sinning.
Yeah.
So I totally agree with you, but I love playing devil's advocate.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna
But you know,
argue
but
other
you know deep
points.
down you're only playing yourself. So it just,
I know. I'm gonna argue the point.
I
that
do it to
you can't
myself,
go.
too.
You can't go through life
No.
blind, because even if you don't know the truth, you're still held responsible for not wanting to learn something new.
Ignorance is not an excuse.
I think that is so funny you said that, because that's exactly what we were talking about last week and the week before that was that God gave us our brains
To use.
Free will,
To
yeah.
use them. Right.
And-
They're up there for a
to
reason.
not choose ignorance.
Yeah.
Choosing ignorance is choosing a sinful life. Look, guys, I mean, it's not that difficult to know. We know the difference between right and wrong, right? We know the difference what's good and bad. We know what overdoing it or underdoing it is. You know, what do I say about life? Do everything, how do you keep it? In moderation. You know? You don't overdo it, you don't underdo it. You don't oversleep.
I like the old rule.
You like what?
The golden rule.
It's a fantastic
You
rule.
want to
I
others?
don't do
Yeah.
nothing nobody that I
What
will.
about yourself?
Yeah.
About yourself. Like what you do in your life. You don't overeat, you don't undereat. Don't be gluttonous. In anything. I think gluttony can fit in just about any situation about things we
Sloth.
take into our bodies. Right?
I am definitely slow.
Don't be lazy.
I'm definitely lazy.
You're sinning.
Pessimism.
I know that.
You're wasting God's gifts for you.
I know.
God gave you 2 legs. Some people don't have them.
You know I walk everywhere. What the
They
heck?
long for those legs and those thighs that you have.
I got me some good thighs.
So that road leading to, where's that road go?
Wherever God's
Wherever,
dis-
Where you're
whatever
supposed
you're
to
gonna
be.
make the
Where are you supposed to be?
biggest impact.
Where are you supposed to be?
Right here.
Wherever God has a plan for you to be, where you need it.
And do you know where that is?
No,
Of course not.
Not always.
Well, of course not.
No.
I think you don't always know. I think a lot of times you do.
You know where you're wanting to go. You know where your end goal is, but that doesn't mean
Where
that
you
your
want
road's
to
gonna
go,
be.
where you want to go, and where God wants you to be, it could be 2 totally different
Everybody's
things.
end road should, well, not everybody's end road should be the same, but when you
You
die,
want-
you want to go to
yes.
heaven.
Right.
So I mean, that's
That's
kinda
the ultimate goal, right?
Yeah, exactly. But
And how do you get
everybody's
there?
road is not going to be the same.
No, everybody's road is different. Everybody's path is different. But how do you get there?
Following the road God leads you
How do you know where the road is?
by talking to God.
Talking in what?
Reading His Word.
What else?
Prayer.
What else? Well, how do you pray?
By listening.
With stop.
You listen.
And constance.
You listen.
His favorite phrase, shut up and listen.
Prayer is not a monologue. Prayer is a conversation between you and God. So after you've done your thing, you've prayed, you've said what you wanted to say, you made your confessions, you asked for what you wanted, shut up.
He tells me what I want to hear.
Shut up
before
and
I
listen.
even start
The problem is some people don't know how to listen. They don't understand. They think that you're going to hear it up here. You're going to hear these words.
No.
I command thee to
It's
do
right here.
this. And it doesn't work that way.
It's right here.
By listening, it just means by
You can just know.
following.
But it's
God,
different for
through your
everybody.
life, you'll be given opportunities, and to
God gave us all gifts.
exactly.
To squander them, to waste them, to ignore them, to put them away in our pockets.
That's one of the.
It's slapping
It's
God in the,
selfish.
it's kind of slapping God in the face,
Yeah,
isn't
yeah.
it? Saying, I'm care about your gift.
I think it's selfish.
It is selfish. We're here for, what is our purpose on earth?
To serve and do His.
To serve and worship God. Our sole purpose on this earth is to serve and worship God. We all do it in many different ways. I do it by having this ministry and other things. I mean, during the day. I mean, this is not all I am, you know. I mean, I'm an animal lover. I'm a person who likes to donate to charities that I choose.
You watch over Aunt Patsy.
She watches over me.
That's true.
Well, this past week, a little bit.
Family is very, very important to me. And
You keep your HGTV going.
I keep my HGTV going.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
I ain't watching.
Keeping Time Warner Cable alive,
Obviously,
basically.
I'm an animal lover, big time, you know, and so I mean, through the day, I have all of these different things that I'm interested in, that I've always been interested in my life. And you know, I talked about this before. If you go back to the time you grew up between 3 and 5 years old, and you think about what you were so infatuated with at that time, in that innocent time, what you were infatuated with, what it was, I guarantee you, you can bring it into today and know that that's either your job now, or what you should be doing, or what you will be doing in the future.
Mine was
I guarantee it.
Indiana Jones.
Because Indiana Jones, maybe you ought to be a.
Well, I wanted to be an anthropologist.
There you go.
But
See?
I got a felony, so.
So I mean, like I said, I had a little altar set up in my bedroom when I was 5 years old. I'm not kidding. Ruined a lot of my mother's towels and things, put crosses on them, and you know, the cup and.
Really.
But that was God's way of bringing this life into my.
Purview.
Well, yeah, it was a way of him making me interested in something. I wouldn't have understood it otherwise. He said, you're going to do this, that, and the other. You're going to have service, and you're going to have open church, and you're going to have, you know, what?
But even all the bad crap I've gone through, like when I was going through it, you don't ever see the bright side of it. But I wouldn't be who I am today had I not been through what I've been through.
You don't.
Met the
Okay, wait
people
a
I
minute.
met.
Wait a minute. You don't see the bright side of what?
When you're in the middle
trial.
of it.
Oh, you're in the middle of it. It's very dark.
When I just caught a felony for trying to burn my parents' house down and looking at 6 years in prison, yeah.
That's not fun.
It's no. And if I would have got it, I would have deserved it.
Did you try and do it?
I was on a drug binge, and all they wanted me to do was leave the house.
And you didn't do
Too
it.
jacked up. I
So
said,
you-
fuck that! I'm burning this motherfucker.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And you know, you can't do that. You
No,
can't
I
do that.
can't.
You over.
I called my mom that day I got arrested. I said, hey, if I go to prison for this, I will deserve every day of it. And the DA started out at 6 years, and she wouldn't budge. She hated me.
Let me tell you.
But it boiled down to my mom didn't want to send me to prison.
There's a word you said. Binge.
Oh yeah.
Gluttony.
I
And
should've
I'm
done
gonna
the
come back
coma.
to you about modern. What does it bring you? It brings you nothing but negativity. Bring you back to that word. Moderation. And there are people that can
No,
do
that's-
things in their lives that some other people can't. There are people who can handle certain things that other people can't. Some people can handle drinking, some people can't. Right?
Yeah.
We've seen it. One drink and that's it. They're on a binge. They can't stop. They're acting a fool. Right? Well, some of us can have a sip of wine and be
Yeah,
over
but
it.
sometimes it's good to let loose like that.
It's not
No,
good to
when
make
you
a fool
lose
of
your
yourself.
inhibitions.
It's, you know, you can do some of your, you know, alcohol obviously it's what it
Well,
does. It
if you got-
mellows you out a little bit. It brings your, you know, you brings your inhibitions down a little bit. But you don't need to be, you know, shit-faced drunk.
Of course not.
I used to be.
You don't need to be throwing up everywhere.
No,
This is the
fun is that?
pain.
Listen, if you're not having fun doing it, if you're not having fun doing it, and
Why-
something you're supposed to have fun doing,
why do it?
Why are you doing it?
Exactly.
Why? I never understood
I
people
was
who went to the bar and
miserable.
drank, and I was one of them
I
actually.
didn't
Okay,
like
people who
myself for a
drink
long
and
time.
are not having fun drinking, their lives are so miserable that
I
they
think
have to have something to make them forget about it.
I think you're generalizing.
I wanted to be numb.
I
tell you,
agree.
well, I talk about that a lot too. Not, you know, numbing it out.
It's-
Numbing it out. We don't want to feel it. We don't want to deal with it. We don't want to talk about it. But the
So
problem
we're
with that
human.
is, listen to me.
It puts the
The
problem on
problem
pause.
with that is the fog does have to rise sometime.
Yeah, and
the
it-
clouds do have to lift sometime.
You're
And you're left
right.
standing there
And
in
it's
this
that-
bright light, not knowing who the hell you are because you've numbed it all out. And who are you? I don't know. I don't know what I stand for. I don't know what I believe in. I don't know even who I am because you numbed it out.
Yeah,
Why?
because we're human.
No,
Because we can't deal with what we're dealing with.
we can. God will not give you anything more than you can handle.
Oh,
You choose
I like
to bathe.
that. My
You
mother
choose.
used to say that all the
It's the
time.
truth. God will not hand you more than you can handle.
No.
I agree.
Believe me, there's times when I go, oh my God, what are you doing to me?
I totally agree with you, but you know me. I don't follow that. I always know myself
I think I
out.
would have been in prison.
And I'm sorry that you do, because I think by doing that, you not only do yourself a great injustice,
I know.
but you steal from all of us and from everybody else who comes in contact with you that experience that we should have with you. You steal the Marshall that I know, and you hide it away.
I know.
And that's a shame, because I really like the Marshall that I know.
I'm sorry.
The few friends I have left are only my friends because they can differentiate between Brenton and pilled out Brenton, whatever I was on.
Well,
And you'll make new friends through your lifetime.
Yeah.
There'll be people that never knew you as that person.
Yeah.
And there'll be, war stories, right?
Yeah. But I mean, but you're like that with me. You know whenever I'm messed up, and you know whenever I'm not.
I do.
And even though I do numb myself out, you still enjoy
Why?
the company
Why
that I
don't
give
you,
you.
why don't you deal with the pain?
That's a hard question.
It is a hard question. Why do you take the easy road out?
Because I'm scared.
You know that Christ is with you. You believe in Jesus. You believe in God.
Mm-hmm.
You know that He's always there with you.
You know, it's not. You know, it's because I'm scared, but it's also because I've kind of just given up.
I know you have. What are we gonna do about that?
Hopefully, I'll get fixed sometime soon.
It's not gonna get fixed.
Just find
about-
something what you want to do in life and
It's about
pursue it.
finding something to live for.
Yeah.
First of all, being yourself.
I know that.
But if I have to help you find something else to live for until you can learn to love yourself the way you should, I'll do that. And I'll keep trying. I'm not going to stop.
I know you're not.
It's a
That's
never-
why I think you're my good friend. Because of the fact that
That's
even
my,
though I have given up on myself, and even though I haven't helped myself in a long time, you're always there to help me.
that's my duty not only as a pastor
Mhm.
and as a minister, but as your friend and as a human being. It's all of ours. All
I just
a
wish
duty of
that everybody else in
everybody.
the world was like that.
Everybody else in the world is not like that. The
That's-
world, let me tell you something. It's tough out there.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about last week evil. I talked about who has seen evil, and we talked a little bit about that.
I've seen the world.
There's a lot of people out there. There's a lot of pain. There's a lot of people numbing it out and putting up this facade of something else that they're not.
Taking it out on others.
Taking it out on others. The pain is heavy in the world. But without that pain, that knowledge of that hurt, we could never know that true knowledge of joy and happiness, because it's like a pendulum. Follow me here. You have this wonderful feeling over here, this good, this love, happiness, you know, all these wonderful things you want to feel, all those endorphins running through your body.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot feel this without feeling the other end of that pendulum,
Mm-hmm.
which is hate and no love and pain and emotional distress and loss. You can't feel it. You will not have the same regard, the same respect for this emotion unless you learn to get respect and have the same regard for this emotion. You can't do it. That's the way it works. That's the way the universe works.
Mm-hmm.
And the universe will always be equal. So therefore, to get this, we have to experience this.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Sucks.
It does.
Yeah.
But you know what? If it was good all the time,
You wouldn't learn
And-
anything.
Yeah,
well,
you
wouldn't
wouldn't
learn
learn
anything. It wouldn't mean anything. It would be just normal, if we want to call it that. A normal day. And then the bad thing about that is, what is there to look forward to?
Well, but I'd probably speak for myself. I don't have a lot of the same issues normal people do. Like,
What is normal?
I'm a drug addict.
What is normal? Okay, you're a drug addict.
Yeah.
So tell me, why don't you have, there's a lot of drug addicts in the world.
Mm-hmm.
A lot.
Yeah.
Sure.
A lot of them are functioning too.
That's right. And that's why I say, even, and you know, people, this is very controversial when I say this. There are people in this world that can take drugs into their bodies
I know.
and use alcohol or drugs or other
I'm
forms,
jealous.
and they can use that to their advantage, not in a negative way, but in a positive way. It's like taking medications as well, like, you know, antidepressants or bipolar medication or things like that help people to get through. Some people call it self-medication or whatever they want to call it. What I'm saying is they've learned their bodies, they know what they can handle and what they can't, and they don't overdo it. They don't act a fool. They get done what they're supposed to get done. Are they hurting themselves? I don't know. Are they? I don't know.
That's their own personal thing they have to
can
do.
never-
That's between them and God. Are they hurting you? No. They're helping you probably. So I mean I'm all for the and this is gonna give me some backlash. I'm all for the legalization of drugs.
All of them.
All of them. Tax them,
Yeah.
put them in factories, make them safer.
Control it.
Control it. I guarantee you, look at what's happened in Europe when they did that.
Yeah.
The drug addiction problem is gone.
It dropped by
Because
70%.
the stigma behind it, that whole
That's-
bad boy feeling of all these teenagers trying to, it's gone. It's like, you know,
That's what starts it off for most people. Alcohol
Right.
and everything else is the
and it's,
stigma.
a lot of the people, it's the thrill of the chase. It's that thrill of finding
Ooh, I'm doing something bad.
that or going and finding it. You gotta find it. You gotta find it. Go to the dark alley and get it. You gotta go hit the dope man or whatever.
I hate that.
It is. It really is. It becomes a lifestyle.
It is.
Yeah.
And think about taking that lifestyle and just flipping it around and saying, okay, you can do it. Now look, don't act a fool, because you just like if you're drunk in public, you're gonna go to jail for it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So if you're high in public and acting a fool, you're gonna go to jail.
Mhm.
But if you can do it and have a drink, or have a toke, or have a snort, or whatever it is you're doing,
Mm-hmm.
and you're not hurting anybody else, and you're not acting a fool, and you're living life well, and you're contributing to society.
No one else should care.
But
I agree.
But I'm talking about when I was not able to control. Like,
Because what?
because
Because
I
you couldn't control your addiction.
I loathed, but yeah, what do we lie?
you couldn't stop. You couldn't say no to yourself.
I didn't want to say no. I didn't want to be burdened.
You never hit the part where you wanted to say I can't do this anymore. I can't handle this. You never hit that.
No.
You haven't hit rock bottom yet, young man.
Yeah.
I've been, yeah.
You haven't hit rock bottom yet.
No. Well, what is rock bottom? I mean, death.
No.
No.
But it's a lot like it.
I mean,
It's a lot like it. You
It's-
are That's the only.
Because I know one of the few lucky ones that have parents that
it's
give a
either
shit.
it's either at this point you are going to die,
Yeah.
or
Or I'm going to prison.
you're going to stand up. You're going to do one of the two at rock
Yeah.
bottom. You have a choice there, and it's that choice that you make that decides.
I've come to the conclusion I gotta get out of Texas to do that.
You know, let me tell you something about that. And I'm not going to try
Not
and
just
force you
for-
on this, but I'm gonna, from my experience,
There's, yeah.
you can't run away from yourself.
It's not that, but there's nothing in life I want to do here as a career in Texas.
What do you want to do?
The botanist, horticulture.
You just
Not
said
grow
you
weed.
just said you had a felony.
Yeah, so what? I can go work in a greenhouse.
Why can't you do that here?
We have
They don't. The climate's not
We
here.
have
The,
wonderful
the
greenhouses
industry's
here.
not
We have
here.
beautiful greenhouses here.
outside.
I'm
of-
talking about
outside-
tropical. I'm
outside
like
of-
in California, like
outside-
orchids, Venus
outside-
Go
flytraps.
to Galveston.
Have you not seen our arboretum?
Yeah,
We have a
Arboretum.
huge
I'm a member of the Arboretum.
here.
That's
And it's absolutely gorgeous. And if
Yeah.
you wanted to really see something beautiful,
That's like show.
is it?
Yeah, but who takes care
Why?
of it?
Why is it like so? It grows here in the in Texas. It's just it's water a little more in the heat. It
They
is.
import all them tropical when it's
Okay.
seasonal. I mean, it's
You're
just,
right.
Yeah.
But there are also plants that are planted there
True, yeah.
and grow each year and rebloom each
But
year.
I don't want to move to
It's
more.
beautiful. Okay, so
warmer
your
climate.
point is you want to be in a warmer climate where it's more comfortable for you.
Not even necessarily that. It's just there's nothing in Texas I want to do.
Texas.
You just don't like Texas.
Texas,
I
Texas
will-
is a
I
big
love
place.
Texas, but there's nothing I want to do for a living that.
What's wrong with Galveston? Beautiful tropical area.
Dude,
Dirty
Galveston's
ass
nasty.
And the only thing
But
I'd be able
Padre.
to do down there is construction.
Padre. They do construction because they had a hurricane hit and they're trying to rebuild the place.
No, that's the only work I'd be able to get down there.
Why?
Because I have no education and my buddy.
So how are you going to go to California and become a botanist?
Huh? Because
Botany is kind of the same thing everywhere you go.
I mean I've all more or less self-taught myself a lot
So,
of
but
this
how are you going to get a job there if you can't get a job here as a botanist?
Job climate here is a lot better than it is out there.
the commercial horticulture scene is not here.
You're wanting to work in
Like in California, where they
Just tell me what you want to do.
orchids, Venus flytraps,
Okay.
tropical plants.
Okay?
Yeah.
South America.
Can't get out of the United States.
The decisions we make in our lives, in our past. Oh,
Yeah, I
we'll
thought
come back to
myself when I was
Hollywood. No, you
18.
didn't.
Well,
You know what? You just
it made it
limited,
difficult.
you limited your
Yeah.
choices later in life. That's okay.
I wanted to go to the army just to go to this college.
It's okay. Why didn't you?
I caught a felony when
You
I was
can't be
18
there.
years
Then
old.
you know what? Then you didn't want to go that bad.
I
Because you knew better. You knew better. You knew you couldn't get a felony. You shouldn't have been doing it.
I didn't know the dude had meth in my car. Instead,
Did you do anything wrong? Let me ask you something.
I said, "Here's my weed pipe, and there's my weed, and there's nothing else in my car,
Let me tell you
officer."
something. Not that one time. The time you got caught. Not then. Okay.
No, yeah,
Any
yeah,
other time?
yeah.
Had you committed felonies?
Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah, I'm not trying to justify nothing. I've spent a lot of time in myself thinking about it, and I'm not.
Don't beat yourself up about it anymore, though.
It's
Stop
just
that.
how to go about it. I don't know.
You got to forgive yourself.
Give myself.
You have to forgive yourself because you beat yourself up.
wasting my life. away.
Right. Well, no.
When there's
You're not,
potential,
but you don't have to waste your life. Just because you caught that felony doesn't mean you can't go be a productive member of society and do something you like to do.
Yeah, but I should have already been somewhat started.
But you're not.
At the age I'm at.
But you're not.
Exactly. I
know
don't
what?
have my license.
I started a church. I was 40.
Sucks.
I was 43 years old when I
Yeah.
started a church.
last year.
43 years old when I started a church. That's not real young to be starting something like this. And this is not a building something like this from the ground up is not an old man's game. It's a young man's game. Okay, trust me. So, my father.
Yeah, his dad.
My father is in college still. He's just got his PhD. He's just got his master's in psychology. Okay? He's worked at it all of his life. He's interning at the age of 65
65 in
in mental health facilities.
He's working 7 days a week.
He
right
worked
now.
for 4 months.
Is that what he wants?
For
to
4
do?
months, for 7, he has to keep his regular job, right? Because he doesn't get paid interning. It's not like mom and dad are still around, Okay? So he works 4 days a week at his regular job. He takes a day of vacation. He drives out to Commerce from Austin. He works the next 3 days at the clinic. Plus 2 of those days he goes to school for half the day. 7 days a week. He did that for 4 months straight.
But does he love it? Or did he just do it because he had to do
No,
it?
he wants to be. He wants. That's what's always been his
So then
dream.
it wasn't like
It's always
work
been his
to
dream.
him.
But it is. It is work.
Yeah.
It is. It's a lot. I mean,
But you know what I mean.
I know what you mean, but it's a lot of work.
That's.
I mean, but he's 65 years old, and he's talking about leaving this job where he's making $1 million a year
Lord.
and going to work at the VA.
The VA.
That's going to be his retirement.
Wow.
That's going to be his retirement. He can be a counselor at the VA.
Okay.
That's what he wants to do. It's never too late.
I just want to live a simple life. I want to be off the grid.
Then do it.
It's hard.
You said, why is this hard to be simple?
I do it.
Nothing
Why
worth
is it
it.
so hard to be simple?
It's hard to be completely self-sustainable
It
in
is.
2000.
It costs a lot of money, doesn't it?
Nothing worth it.
It
is-
does. It
Nothing,
costs a lot of money.
Nothing
It
worth it
does.
is easy.
You're right, also. If you want it bad enough, you'll make it happen. If you want it bad enough,
This
you'll
is
make it
my
happen.
comfort zone. I just don't know. I gotta get out of it.
Well, yeah.
I understand. I'm not trying to. Look,
And
I'm
I
not
live
trying
in
to
the
stop
freaking
believing.
loonies on the lake. I mean, there ain't nothing out there. There ain't even a
Then
gas.
then make something out
There
there.
ain't
You
even
just said
gas.
you wanted to live simple. Make it out there.
It's not my property.
You have property in California?
I wouldn't need property. People, you ever heard of what's it called? There's a
I know about that place.
yeah,
The lawless place.
yeah. But
That where you wanna live?
No.
I wouldn't either. Interesting conversation.
But I told you last
About
night, I
different
get
roads.
invited to that Marijuana Business Expo every year. And my friend went 2 years ago and networked with some people, and he's been up in NorCal for the.
So go to the thing.
I have no. It's out of my comfort zone. I've never even been to Vegas.
And you don't want it bad enough.
Get out of that comfort zone.
The only way to do something new, to try something, to improve yourselves and to make yourself grow, is to do things you don't know, that
Yeah.
you're not comfortable with. Because the only thing we're comfortable with is what we know.
But I don't have the resources.
Then get them.
I mean, what? You want me to ride a Greyhound out there and?
Yeah.
That's what people.
I mean, it ain't life or death.
Some people hitchhike.
Yeah, I don't want it.
It
I
might
don't
be
want
life
it
or
bad
death.
enough.
It might be life or death.
Maybe when my parents die and I have to, yeah. But
So you're just content just to.
no, I'm not content at all.
What are
What?
you doing to change that?
I'm scared of failure.
Aren't we all?
Well, maybe I am
But-
a little bit more than you.
Remember that pendulum? Oh, no.
No.
No. Let me explain this to you. Opening this church was crazy. I mean, I have a past. I have a present.
Hopefully a future.
I know I have a future. And I get a lot of looks. I do. And I know what they're thinking, usually. You know, what the hell are you doing? Let me give you the right to wear that collar. You know? They can judge me all they want. I'm scared to death of this thing not making it. Because I don't want the ridicule. And I'll get the I told you so's. And what the hell were you thinking? And somebody like, you can't do that. Well, you know what? God put this longing in my heart, put this desire in my body for a reason. And if I helped one person along the way, one person make their life better, I'm happy. I feel that way every day, though. Every day I say the same thing to me. If I can help one person today, if I can just make a difference in one person. That's why I think it's so important when you're walking down the street to smile. Say, hey, what's up? Make eye contact. You may just save that person from jumping off the bridge behind you because they were having the worst day of their lives. Failure to me would be devastating. I mean, it's financially.
Not so much failure, but just existing, just not progressing. I'm just staying stagnant. I've been stagnant
So
my whole life. I'm about to be 31. I ain't got shit. I have nothing.
you have you.
I have me.
You have friends here.
Yeah.
Okay.
You still have a brain in your
You
health.
still have a lot of ability.
Very surprisingly, yeah.
You have a lot of energy. You have the ability to communicate. You have the ability to persuade. You have the ability. I've seen your strength. I mean, you have a heart.
That's
I mean, you came and helped us move Aunt Patsy for nothing.
I know why would
For nothing. Who does that?
not many.
I mean,
He like tried not to let me have to go help him.
Well, I felt I couldn't compensate
I
for
would
it.
have offered it.
But I couldn't. I can't. No, people don't do that anymore.
No, yeah.
They
My
don't.
mom always said, if you're gonna do something for somebody, don't expect shit back.
When you give anything,
Yeah.
whether it's your time,
Yeah.
a present,
Yeah.
a gift, you give anything, it's not a gift.
No.
If you expect something in return, if you expect something in return, it's a contract.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? It's like with Christmas. If you give a gift and you're sitting there waiting for somebody to hand you something back, you did it wrong. That's not what it's about. It's about the gifting, not the getting. Just like God gave us His Son. Right? Okay. You.
I don't know. I think I just struggle with it because there is.
Yeah, you do. And I've been there. Hey,
There's
look, I'm trying to tell you, I've been in the same boat, man. Great. I was married for 16, well, I had a partner for 16 years. And when he died, they took everything from me. Our 16 years meant nothing to them. It was basically, our lives together didn't exist. Financially, emotionally, property-wise, everything. They took my burial plot away from me. They threw me out of the house with a backpack, my clothes, my baby blanket, my baptismal candle, my dog. At that point in time, I had no legal recourse because our union was not recognized by the United States. So I came off the streets back home to Mom's, and I said, I can't live here. I'll go crazy. Quinlan, Texas, me, can't do it. I'm a city boy. I can't hate it out there. But I had nowhere to go. So, I mean, thank God Mom was there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And by the grace of God, through some decisions I made and determination on my part and a lot of risk, I picked myself up and slowly got here, which is where I want to be right now in my life. I'm very comfortable here. Do I want more? Hell yeah. But am I grateful? Very, very grateful for what I have? Hell yeah. But it wouldn't have happened if I hadn't gotten off my ass and done it. Hear me?
Mm-hmm.
You take a different road to change your life. You take a different road that's unfamiliar, maybe dark, maybe winding, maybe rocky, maybe steep. But it's worth it because of what's at the end of that road. Does everybody get that?
Still scary.
It's scary as hell, man.
Yeah.
And even now, I risk. Financially, when the church is not sustaining itself, obviously. We're not. And I'm about out of resources myself. I mean, for the first time in several years, every single number in my bank accounts that I have was at 0 last week. 0. And I had nothing in my pockets. That's scary as hell. To go back to that, I mean, that was the flashback again of just, back again. But I can't let myself go back there. I can't go backwards. I've come this far, and I'm gonna make it happen. One way or another, it's gonna happen. If I have to drag people in from other churches, if I have to go and get people and drag them over here, it's gonna happen.
We got a church across the street we could pilfer from.
This is a dream of mine, and I'm not gonna let it go. It may beat me down. It may win. I pray to God it doesn't. I think that I've got some good things to say. I think I've got some good things to teach, and I think I've got some lives to save. Like my own. Because this gives me purpose. I've been down there. I've been way down there. Where it was nothing but darkness. Nothing but. There was not a glimmer of hope. I've been there. I've woken up in hospitals. Or woken up alone. And went, what the hell did I just do?
I did earlier this year.
I'm sorry.
I made it to a million times harder.
I'm sorry. God's not done with you yet. Otherwise, you'd be gone.
Still frustrated. I know.
It's frustrating. Life's not
I
easy.
should be dead so many times over, but I'm.
Let me tell you something. Life is not easy,
No.
but it is simple. It is. It's simple. Think about that for a little bit. Think about what I just said. Life is not easy, but it is simple. There are choices to make. We know right from wrong. Make the right decision. Well, no, what do they think? And then what about this? I don't want to do that. I don't give a damn what you want. What you want is not what matters. You were put here for one purpose. To serve and worship God. In a lot of different ways. By serving and worship God, you do for everybody an amazing thing. So when people say that it's all about religion, this religion of serving and worshiping God is just,
No, it's just treating everybody
not
like
what
it's
it
your
is.
brother and sister.
Right. It's
Plain and
kindness. It's having a heart. It's not caring what the next person thinks when you're doing something good. It's not listening to the rhetoric or the BS that they throw at you. It's not giving into temptation where you are so gluttonous about things that you don't know what you're doing. It's about living a life. God doesn't want us to be, sitting here being, straight-laced, collar, I mean, I have to wear the collar, but, the collar and straight-laced and always, doing, always bored and just the same stuff over and over and over again every day and be just, robots. If humanity made us robots, if humanity wouldn't give us he wouldn't have given us
Self-awareness.
Free will.
free will.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have given us free will.
Yeah.
We have a choice. We have a path. It's my job not to block you on the path. I'm not going to do this and say, this is where you go. Come on. Okay. Your job is to do that. I'll help nudge you over a little bit. I'm saying, hey man, you can kind of over the line here. Let's get over a little bit. He wants you over there. But sometimes we don't need that. We don't need friends like that. We need people in our lives. And they, believe it or not, they're always there. There's always some. We talk about, every week I talk about, God sent, God created us. And then he sent, we were, we could have lived happily forever after with God. But we so sin, right? So he sent the prophets to tell us, hey, y'all need to stop. You're screwing up here. You really don't want what you're really missing here. And we said, we want sin. We want the lifestyle. We want to go party and have a good time. Then he sent Jesus. And it took the death of that man, the death of God, to wake us up. That's what it took. That's amazing to me. That we were so self-centered, so ungrateful for our lives, so lost, that they had to crucify this man, crucify God, for all the world to see.
It's pretty crazy that he even did that. He could have.
We talked about that. We've talked about that in the past. I mean, imagine that. He is human.
We deserve
The
it.
man is human. Okay? He's human. You imagine the feelings he was feeling? Yeah, he's the Son of God. He is. But he's still human.
Mm-hmm.
The fear alone, I would have run. I know I would have. There's no way I would have. I just don't,
He was crying blood in the garden before they ever even came to get him.
He knew he had to be in that garden for a reason. He knew that. He could have just as well gotten up and head for the hills.
Oh yeah.
But he didn't. I don't think God would have been too happy with him.
That's what I did that day I got arrested.
He ran.
No. Could have been on the other side of the lake. It took him 2.5 hours to get out there.
And
Walking around.
what did that do?
Caught me a couple more charges.
It was worth it.
Yeah.
Was it? That extra 2 hours freedom right there was worth it?
No. Well, the lesson I learned was worth it. And if I would have been in prison for 6 years, yeah.
By the grace of God, you're not.
Dirty.
By the grace of God, you're not.
No. I should have been in a Goma, but I was trying to burn my parents' house down. Because they wanted me to leave.
That's all they wanted you to do was leave. I have a problem with that.
Plain and simple.
Well, I've had issues with that in the past as well. With, look, this is my home, or this is my church, or this is my whatever, my property.
Yeah.
You have no claim to
I
it.
didn't get that for a long
Just
time.
leave. you are an adult.
No, yeah.
You do not reside here. You have nothing here. This is not your place. I'm asking you nicely to leave. Why wouldn't you leave?
That does happen.
Because I was spoiled and self-entitled.
You felt entitled.
They enabled me a little bit too much.
Oh, yeah. Got spoiled.
Yeah.
Screw you, Mom and Dad. I'm staying.
I'm the firstborn.
So was I. So was I. And I had that same sense of
Comes the
entitlement.
baby.
But you know what? It all came crumbling down on me. You know what happened? The money went away.
Well, I never had money.
The money went away. The entitlement went away. The privilege went away. And I went,
I don't.
all this time I was building my life on, half-ass getting through because I knew that I was going to have all this when I got to. Guess what? It wasn't there. I had to rethink things, or just sit and wallow. So which are you going to do?
I'm done wallowing. I set my jail so I realized.
But aren't you still doing it?
Huh?
Aren't you still doing it?
I'm not doing what I was doing, but I'm not doing nothing.
Okay. But sometimes it takes baby steps.
I mean, it's hard to go to school. I don't have a car.
Excuses.
Have you seen where I live?
I know where you live.
Yeah. It's 4 miles to the closest gas station.
Okay.
My dad's 74.
Okay. You got here.
Yes. On the Uber.
And I can't stay at my grandmother's house in Plano
Why?
because my aunt's a skitzer and she's all has dope heads over there. And
Okay.
I always get blamed.
Why can't you talk to your grandmother about saying, look, why don't you get rid of her? She can't be here.
Because she is sold. She's
Okay. So you can't change other people.
No,
That's
yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
So you got to do this for yourself then.
Yeah.
Okay. If you want it bad enough, hear me out. I know where you live. I know it's a bitch. I get it.
Yeah.
Okay. If you want it bad enough, you'll find a way. You'll network. You'll go to Walmart and be putting up signs saying, "Do you go to school here? Could you? Is there a way you could drop by here, pick me up on the way?" You'll make a way. When I wanted to go to school so badly, and I was living in useless, as I call it.
Shit.
Okay. And I was going to school in Bedford. Okay, I didn't have a car. You know what I did? I got up every morning and walked with a 25-pound backpack on my back to school. There were times that I had someone pick me up and take me home, but every morning I had to walk. If I wanted to go to school and I wanted to make something of myself, and I really did, because I screwed up already. I'd already not done what I was supposed to do. I didn't, finish high school and go directly into college and become what I wanted to become. I didn't do it. I screwed up. But I realized I can't just sit here because of that one mistake of not doing it then. I can't continue to say, I'm not worth that. I don't deserve that, because I do. And that's where I want to be, and that's what I did. I'm not trying to brag. I'm trying to say sometimes it takes extraordinary measures to get these extraordinary things we're supposed to have. God has a plan for you.
I don't think it entails hitchhiking to school.
Why not?
Because I don't want it. I don't want that out of life.
What do you
I
want?
don't want simplicity. I want to be able to
How do you get that?
We move to a commune.
Okay.
That's still not simple.
Yeah, I know.
It's pretty difficult.
It's
It's pretty difficult. I'm pretty big
But I
on
mean,
my
that's,
privacy.
I don't want material things. I don't want to conform to society and have a job that I hate.
Okay, then don't.
Yeah, well, that's what's been shoved down my
But
mouth.
so
my whole
what?
life.
Be different. But what do you have to do? What are the steps you have to do to get where you want to be? That's the question.
I have to follow my parents' rules.
Right.
Able to-
Because you don't have a choice right now.
Yeah.
This is what's helping you get to where you. And that's where you have to think about things sometimes. You have to go, look, this is not really where I want to live. I've lived in some places that I really did not want to live. Trust me. Okay. I couldn't afford anything else. Okay. I had to do that because I could see the goal at the end there, but there's steps. Anything worth having is difficult to get. They're not. Look, anything that's handed to you on a silver platter isn't worth it because you didn't earn it. You don't know what the value is of it. I have friends now who don't have any clue what the value of a dollar is because they don't earn it. They may get dollars, whatever way they do it, but they haven't earned it. So they haven't put any sweat or effort or any time or of themselves into it to earn what they're getting. They're getting it falsely. They're getting it with ways that are not right, and they know that, but they have no clue what a dollar is. I try and tell them, I'm $1,000 short of my bills this month, and it's nothing to them. They're like, oh, okay. No. I mean, they steal people's credit cards for that on a daily basis. These bougie people. Bougers. I hate that word became that.
Bougie?
Bougie used to be a nice word. It was kind of like, putting on the Ritz. You were bougie.
Putting on the Ritz?
That's the best way I can describe it. Being very glamorous, very in vogue.
Cosmopolitan almost.
Right. And when somebody first said that to me and said that something about being bougie, and it was in a negative connotation, I was like, what are you talking about? It's amazing how the language changes through time. So, I hate that word. But,
You have to be irritated enough sometimes.
You have to stop. You have to, realize that. First of all, you have to realize that you're worth that goal that you want.
Oh yeah,
that's the hard part.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of us that are
no confidence.
With no confidence, we have no self-esteem.
Yeah.
We don't. In order to really go somewhere, you gotta have to love yourself because it's going to take a lot to get there. Just look at my father. He's been doing this since I was a kid. But I remember when I was a kid, I was 7 or 8 or 9 years old, and he would take me and do he would practice hypnotizing me. Hypnotizing is not exactly what it's all what it's all cracked up to be. It's not about that. It's just a deep state of relaxation is what it is. It's and that's why people I think can really relax and let go of some of their barriers and can remember a lot of things. That's what it's used for, remembering lost memories and whatnot. But it's a very meditative state. Okay, and this was back when I was a kid. I'm 44 years old now, and he's still in school. That's dedication. He couldn't go full time. He couldn't afford it. He had a kid and a wife, and he had bills. He couldn't do it. And Mom sure as hell didn't like him. I mean, there was a big fight of theirs all the time. He was always, he wasn't at work. He was at school. And Mom, There was a topic of their fighting very often. But it's what he wanted, and it's what he still wants, and he's going for it. He's 65 years old. I'd be going, dude, relax. You're making millions a year. You got property everywhere. You've got beautiful cars. You're
literally in retirement age.
You've got a wife.
Oh.
And a family. Like I said, my dad came from the Bronx, New York, where there were many times, probably more so than not, that there wasn't dinner, there wasn't food, there wasn't a grain of salt in the house.
Hot water, take a bath.
No, of course not. There wasn't any. His mother, like I said, God rest her soul, my grandmother, she was a lady of the night. She was a prostitute, she was a drug addict. She's an alcoholic.
So that's a bit more of
And
that.
having kids like that, her daughter, the closest to my dad was her older daughter, and they had two different fathers. So, she actually went in my dad's name. She went and erased his name on the birth certificate and typed in Manning because that was her daughter's father's name. Because she didn't want to send them both to school with two different names. There could be questions. My father's last name is Zorn. His father's last name is Zorn. His father never knew him. His father never had any other children and didn't know he had a beautiful son. It kills me to know that. My dad started looking for him, and he had died like a year before my dad actually found out who he was. So now we're on all these genealogy pages and everything and the DNA stuff, and I'm sure these Zorns are going, who the hell is this crazy person saying that they're, how the hell are they DNA, how are they part of our family? Well, let me tell you. Remember that war back so-and-so, back in 1952, 51, when so-and-so was going through Georgia? Well, there was a little fling that went on. There was a little fling, and that's why my father got the name Daniel. His father's name was Daniel, and I carry that name as well, my middle name, Daniel. So it's an interesting way of having that heritage with me. So I often wonder if I should change my name to Zorn, just because that's really what my name is. I do. Yeah, I've thought about it. It costs money. It's a lot of money to do it. But it's something I think I really want to do. So
I need to get my
don't be
regular
surprised.
expunged.
Someday my initials change from MDM to MDZ. Sounds like a beer, doesn't it? MDZ.
Oh,
I'll have an MDZ.
Lord. It sounds like a car brand is what it sounds like.
Now it does. Cars didn't used to sound like that. It used to be El Dorado and Coupe de Ville.
Yeah, no,
and now it's MKR, you know.
RX-8.
The 3.
Mazda RX.
Can we be more creative than that? All right. Different roads. There are a plethora of roads in front of you. Now, a lot of them lead to that same place we want to go. There's still a different way of getting there. Some of them curve around the other way. Some of them take the scenic route. Some of them take, the fast route. Watch out for that one. The fast route to where you want to be, to where we want to be at the end of our lives.
Usually not the
one you
best
wanna
one.
go on. Not the one you want to go
But
on.
10 years of, or 8 years of it, incarcerated. I
Yeah.
didn't want to be there.
No. So don't do things to put yourself there. Okay, guys. Anything else you have for me? It's a good one today. I enjoyed it. I'll see y'all next Sunday at 3 o'clock. Please be here. Please bring somebody to church. Help us grow. Please help us grow. Call your friends. I don't care. Bring your parents. Do something. Bring somebody to church.
I got an idea. If you give me today.